Hello friends and welcome back to the channel. When people think about classic aquarium fish, the platy is often one of the first that comes to mind. Familiar, peaceful, almost ordinary at first glance. But today we're slowing things down and are taking a deeper journey. In this video we'll explore how to keep and breed platy fish, where they originally came from, how they are classified, and what their natural world looks like. Behind the small, colorful fish is a story that stretches from wild Central American waterways all the way into the foundations of modern cancer research. This is the southern platyfish, Xiphophorus maculatus. Keeping platyfish is straightforward, which is part of why they've been so popular for generations. A small group can be kept comfortably in a tank of around 60 liters or 15 gallons or more, with stable water parameters, a temperature between 22 degrees and 28 degrees Celsius, which is between 70 and 82 degrees Fahrenheit, slightly alkaline and moderately hard water. They are omnivorous and do best on a right diet of high-quality flakes and pellets, supplemented with algae-based foods and occasional small live or frozen food. Platies are peaceful and social fish, making them excellent tank mates for other calm community species with similar water requirements. I keep my small group of platies in a 200 liter, so 52 gallon, planted community tank with dwarf cichlids, tetras, and Corydoras catfish. Other potential tank mates would be a mano shrimp or plecos, for instance. I feed them every day with a mix of flakes and pellets, which are sometimes supplemented by live food or frozen food, and the results have been amazing. I have multiple generations of offspring after less than half a year already, and the juveniles look healthy and strong. Like guppies, platies belong to the family of Poeciliidae, a group of live-bearing fish native to the Americas. They share that same basic body plan, the same calm demeanor, and the same ability to thrive in environments where other fish would struggle. But while guppies usually steal the spotlight, the platy has quietly shaped science in ways very few aquarium fish ever have. The name Xiphophorus comes from Greek and means sword bearer, which is interesting because this species doesn't actually carry a sword at all. Unlike its close relative, the green swordtail, the southern platyfish has no dramatic tail extension, and yet, genetically, the potential is there. Hidden, dormant, carried silently through generations. The platy was first described scientifically in 1866 by Albert Günther, originally under a different genus, Poeciliidae maculatus. And here's an interesting side fact. Albert Günther was a German scientist born in Esslingen at the Neckar, which is just a 1-hour drive from where I live right now in Heilbronn. That old name never fully disappeared. It lives on every time we casually call them platies, a reminder of how long this fish has been part of both science and the aquarium world. In the wild, southern platyfish are not South Americans, like guppies. Their roots lie further north, along the Atlantic slope of Central America, from the lowlands of Veracruz in Mexico down to northern Belize. Platies inhabit slow-moving rivers, shallow ditches, swamps, and densely vegetated banks. These are not pristine, crystal-clear streams. They are warm, often murky waters where conditions change constantly. And that's where the platy actually shines. This species is a true generalist. It tolerates a wide range of temperatures. It handles alkaline water and moderate hardness with ease. Still water, gentle flow, and seasonal fluctuations. It adapts. That adaptability is one of the main reasons platies have spread so far beyond their natural range. Through the aquarium trade, Xiphophorus maculatus has established invasive populations in at least 28 countries around the world. The United States, Australia, even tropical islands. Places far removed from its original habitat in Central America. Unlike guppies, which were often intentionally released for mosquito control, platies usually arrived unintentionally. Released pets, escaped fish, unintentional introductions that slowly became permanent. In these new environments, platies feed much the same way they always have. They are omnivores, grazing on algae, detritus, and small aquatic invertebrates. In doing so, they don't just survive, they interact. Studies from introduced populations show that platies can compete with native fish and even alter local invertebrate communities. Small fish, yes, but never insignificant. If you look closely at a platy, you'll notice clear differences between males and females. This is called sexual dimorphism in biology. Females are larger and more robust, reaching up to 6 centimeters, which is 2.5 inches, like this chunky yellow platy lady here, while males stay smaller, usually around 4 centimeters or 1.5 to 2 inches. Males also carry a defining feature of the Poeciliidae family, the Gonopodium. This modified anal fin is used for internal fertilization, a key adaptation that separates livebearers from egg-laying fish. White platies are especially famous for their color patterns. The maculatus name, meaning spotted, is no coincidence. Their bodies can display intricate combinations of black, yellow, and red pigments, produced by different pigment cell types. In this shot, you can see a black spot on many of my platyfish, which is passed on to the next generations as well. These patterns aren't just beautiful, they are predictable, inheritable, and incredibly well studied in science. In fact, the genetics behind platy coloration became one of the most important systems for understanding how traits are passed on in vertebrates. And this is where the story takes a turn. While guppies became iconic for their ecology and sexual selection, the platyfish found its place in medical research. In the 1920s, scientists Myron Gordon and Kurt Kosswig discovered something remarkable. When scientists spread certain platyfish with green swordtails, some of the offspring developed skin cancer. This wasn't coincidence, it was genetics. For the first time, researchers could directly link cancer to specifically inherited genetic informations, laying the groundwork for what we now know as oncogenes. Of course, genes weren't discovered back then, this was the case way later, but still the groundwork was there. The platyfish became a living model for studying how cancer can arise, how it is inherited, and how genetic regulation can fail. Even today, this fish remains central to research on skin cancer and tumor biology. The life cycle of the southern platyfish is just as efficient as the rest of its biology. Platies are oviviparous. Eggs develop inside the female, and after roughly 4 weeks, around 28 to 30 days, she gives birth to fully formed, free-swimming fry. A single brood can range from 20 to 80 young, and the cool thing about platy fry compared to guppy fry is that you can tell their color patterns relatively early. For guppy fish, it takes several weeks until you can tell whether they will have a nice coloration. With platies, this is sometimes the case within the first few days after birth. Even more impressive is the female's ability to store sperm. After a single mating, she can produce multiple broods over time without any further contact with a male. It's an evolutionary safety net ensuring reproduction even when mates are scarce. So, when you see a platy swimming calmly through a planted tank, grazing on algae, or giving birth in the background, you're not just looking at a peaceful community fish. You're looking at a species that helped shape our understanding of genetics, evolution, cancer, and reproduction. A small fish with an enormous legacy. And sometimes, the most familiar creatures are the ones with the most extraordinary stories, waiting quietly for us to finally pay attention. And at the end of this video, I want to say huge thanks to all the members of the Guppy Gang. Julius, Dottie, JVP and Belgian Bucks. Your monthly membership helps me keep this channel up and the lights on. If you enjoyed this video, please like and subscribe, and feel free to watch the video on the right hand side, where I show in depth how I set up the tank that these platyfish live in, or the video on the left hand side. Thanks for watching.